Dear readers and listeners, welcome once again to our message. Trust that all is proceeding according to plan. Dark and heavy energies manifesting as hatred, violence, judgment, and separation are presently affecting everyone's life in some way. The increasing presence of spiritual light on Earth is forcing energies that have long been hidden from general awareness to surface. This is forcing many who have been living with their heads in the sand, unwilling to look at or acknowledge anything other than what they have been told, to start seeing with new eyes. Creations of duality and separation consciousness must be recognized for what they represent before they can be eliminated from the world's collective belief system. Many are now for the first time beginning to comprehend the overwhelming vastness of lies, deceptions, and self-serving greed that has and continues to be promoted as being in everyone's best interest by some leaders and politicians, a few organized religions, and many small and large corporations. The divine plan is alive and well, but is dependent upon the people of Earth to implement it. Those observing and assisting Earth from the other side cannot step in and change things, because every person's free will must be honored. And nothing would be learned from having evolutionary work done by others. The presence of high-frequency energy light carried by evolved states of consciousness automatically and without conscious effort acts to expose and dissolve lower resonating energies, which is how Jesus and others of high resonating consciousness did and still do healing work. Everything that has been accepted as normal, but which in reality represents separation, is or soon will be affected by the increasing presence of high resonating energies pouring to Earth. Practice acknowledging the Christhood of every individual. It is easy to automatically and without conscious thought label someone as fat, ugly, stupid, dishonest, etc. When you find yourself doing this, recognize that even seemingly harmless labels represent judging by appearances. This does not mean that you pretend not to see an appearance or condition, and it does not mean you cannot not discuss it with the person if he/she wants to do this. You don't ignore physical, emotional, mental, or even spiritual appearances. Rather, you see through them by acknowledging the spiritual reality that underlies all material appearances, the good as well as the bad. When confronted with or simply becoming aware of some negative situation or person, say to yourself something like, "I know who you really are," an expression of the living God. Use whatever words you want. This doesn't mean that you suddenly become unaware of some appearance, but rather means that you are living a state of consciousness able to see through material appearances, no matter how devoid of light they may seem to be, which in turn can actually lift or heal if the person or persons are receptive. The three-dimensional belief system teaches that a person must do this or do that, etc., etc., in order to attain success and happiness in life. Success and happiness already exist fully present within every person and need to be acknowledged rather than be attained, but the majority remains unaware of this, and so most continue to do in often futile attempts to draw to themselves whatever it is they believe will bring them fulfillment. Learn to be, rather than do. Living from a consciousness of being oneness rather than one of constantly doing, in order to attain what is already fully present within, allows and opens the avenues necessary for its expression. Never forget that because you are consciousness, and consciousness is the substance of form, a consciousness of I don't have, I need, etc., will create and manifest exactly that. For eons, parents have taught their children from what they know. Religions have promoted their beliefs. Teachers teach students current information, and experts proclaim the truths of their area of expertise. All of these areas are evolving and opening, which is causing resistance from those who have built their lives around currently accepted facts. Allow yourselves to open, which may very well entail leaving behind a few concepts and beliefs you are comfortable with and that have served you well in the past. It is important to understand that no matter how seemingly good, anything born of duality, separation, and a belief in two powers can only ever be illusory. The world is separating. There are those living from higher states of consciousness, and those choosing to remain in that which is old and false. You are going to begin witnessing increasingly more incidents of distinction between the two. And it will become increasingly apparent to the majority that there is an element that wants to keep the world in darkness simply because it serves their interests. You are beginning to see signs of this. As increasingly more people start questioning and refusing to accept at face value much of the information being promoted regarding both local and global issues. Each day more are awakening, even if it doesn't look that way. Oneness is rapidly finding a place in human consciousness, and this in turn is serving to lift and open Earth's collective consciousness. Allow global and personal issues to unfold from a place of detachment. As if watching a movie in the realization that God has never could, and never will manifest itself as war, violence, dishonesty, or any sort of separation. This does not mean you take no action if action is required. To stay in an abusive or violent situation out of the false belief that you are being spiritual and loving is foolish and represents the absence of self, or self-love. It is important to understand but often hard to accept that there are no accidents. Those suffering and dying throughout the world at this time were aware of and chose their experiences before incarnating. Some needed this type of experience in order to understand how it feels to be on the receiving end of the choices they may have made in previous lifetimes. Some simply need these experiences as part of their evolutionary process. However, many spiritually evolved souls have chosen to be in a situation of violence and trauma as their service, their light work, and their way of helping to awaken a sleeping world. To the obsolete status of so much still being accepted as the way of doing things. Be the light that you already are without feeling any need to do, act, plead, or beg. Stop the rites, rituals, and seeking men to make you what you already are and always have been. These things were important facets along your spiritual journey, but you have evolved beyond them. The only thing you need to ask for is more light. Acknowledge and rest in the reality of self and all life being the one divine consciousness manifesting itself as infinite form and variety. We are the Arcturian group. Message for November 5th, 2023, channeled by Marilyn Raphael at oneisofall.com. Thank you for watching Universal Lighthouse Galactic Messages and Spiritual Teachings. Please use your own personal discernment on all content posted. If you enjoyed the different authors that are shared, please subscribe to their content as well. You can visit our blog page at universallighthouse.com and subscribe to receive daily posts via your email. And while you are there, tune in to Universal Lighthouse Radio, broadcasting 24/7 for your vibrational needs. Again, that's universallighthouse.com.